All right, all right, all right. Hey, it's the David Washington Show. I'm David Washington. I am your host here at the David Washington Show. I meant to say the Jay and Washington Network. Hey, it's one and the same, right? Am I right? Anyway, hey, so I just finished another interview on Live Now from Fox with Stephanie Quinn. So please check it out when it does go live. As a matter of fact, it did go live. And if you missed it, check it out. You can download it. You can watch the replay. It should be on their website soon enough. So, hey, it's Sunday, August 25th. It's approximately what 12:20, and we just had one one of the busiest electoral weeks in Florida, and that's right. It was primary election day on August 20th, and no matter what, and I always do this to myself, no matter what. Um, it's busy and I plan something and it just goes horribly wrong. And I was like, gee whiz. I thought I would get to bed early the night before. Uh, I was up until 3 o'clock the night before the primary on Tuesday, 3 o'clock in the morning, Tuesday morning, putting up signs and ran into Tuan Lee. Tuan Lee, I am sorry that the outcome for your primary was not the one that you desired. Tuan Lee, we've met several years ago. I admire you. And maybe next time, if you do decide to run for office, Tuan Lee was a candidate for U.S. Congressional District 10, currently held by incumbent Congressman Maxwell Frost. But Tuan Lee and I took a selfie. I believe I posted it on our socials, on X at least. But wow, that was a long night, a night that I didn't think was going to happen the way it did. However, again, as a local political, the action is out there, and sometimes you have to let it find you. So, okay. The DNC Convention in Chicago, go Chi-Town, my hometown, um, is over. And I talked about it during my appearance on Live Now. And first of all, shout out to Leah Daltrey. She's an at-large delegate. She has been instrumental in the past conventions, I believe 2018, if I remember correctly. My memory's shot. However, she put together with her team a great show. It was phenomenal in its way. And it was a lot of the things that Democrats are used to hearing and used to seeing, except for Beyonce. Ouch. Uh, However, the Democrats played into their usual tropes. Again, what can government do for you? Again, what can the government do as far as improving your economic situation? $25,000 first time home buyer or first generation home buyer tax credit. Reduce subscription drug costs, uh, other things. This opportunity economy, as Vice President Kamala Harris has discussed. And that's great. However, ooh, it's the sheer number of government giveaways, handouts, financial handouts to boost the economy. I have some issue with. As I gotten older, I've gotten more moderate in my views, and there are some things that if you follow the David Washington show, or if you follow You Can't Make This Shit Up, or even a little bit of countertop politics, you know where I stand on some issues. For our viewers and listeners who comment, please continue to comment. I love the conversation. However, I encourage you to look at our content. before you make statements about, you know, who I am or my political affiliations, because I think you'll be surprised. And I think for many of our listeners and many of our um, viewers, if you sit down and take a look at yourself and your situation in the mirror and ask yourself, not are you better off now than you were for 4 years before, but ask yourself, where do you want to be a year from now? Where do you want to be 5 years from now? And if your current situation is leading you along that path, I think many of you will find out that the person or the presidential ticket that you believe will lead you in the right path may not be the presidential ticket or agenda or platform that you thought would lead you towards that path of success. Sit down again, and I push this all the time in my conversations. Sit down and determine what your kitchen table issues are. Really, sit down, listen to yourself, listen to your family, listen to the numbers. Not just look at it, but listen. What is your budget? If you have one, what are your bank statements telling you? What is your investment portfolio telling you? You'll be surprised that one party or the other may not be doing what is best for you. There are third party options. Unfortunately, at this writing, RFK Jr. has stepped out of the race. And of course, a third party challenge is a referendum on the incumbency. And because Biden is not the incumbent running, although his Vice President Kamala Harris, is running, she is not the incumbent. So you really can't apply that. Okay. However, the Biden Harris administration has a track record, and so does President Donald J. Trump, former President Donald J. Trump. He has a current track record, a very recent track record. So you know what you're going to get. You know what you're going to get. And for those folks, Project 2025, let me just address this. I'm going to take a side here and talk about Project 2025. With Project 2025, wow. Democrats made a big deal of Project 2025. Former President Trump said, hey, he had nothing to do with it. He wipes his hands of it. Paul Dance, the executive director of Project 2025, has exited stage left. However, it still exists. Many contributors to Project 2025 are allies of President Trump. Let's make this very, very clear. Former administration members at high levels and staffers for the Trump administration. And if you dig a little deeper, the basis, the foundation for the Republican platform has some roots in Project 2025. Am I saying that Project 2025 is bad for America? Is this like the contract on America? Excuse me, I'm sorry, Newt Gingrich. The contract for America, not the contract on America. Is this, in some liberal eyes, the end of our freedoms? Before I answer that, and to be honest, for me, the answer is no. This is not the beginning of the end of our so-called freedoms. the freedom to determine your own reproductive freedoms, the freedom to an abortion, period. That's already been addressed. That's been happening. Did we not forget what happened with Roe v. Wade? The decision or lack thereof on EMTALA? The lack of a decision on emergency medical care by use of, you know, medication abortions? These issues are still out there. Individual states are making these decisions. The same state legislators and governors who are signing this legislation that you, the voter, has voted for. And the likely chance of these legislators rotating out, being retired because of your vote, very slim. We may not approve of, say, Congress, their likability rating, whatever crap that is. However, we approve of our individual congressperson. So if we individually approve of our congressperson, however, we don't approve of Congress, we're still going to vote the same people in. And this particular Congress has been on record at times the least productive Congress in the history of America as far as pushing quality laws through the Congress, the Senate, and to the president. Going back to the state legislatures, again, the way that people are voting are similar to the way that they voted in their congresspeople. The same incumbents are going to be voted in. And we may see some victories, like in Central Florida. We had primaries for state reps. However, we haven't gotten to the general election yet, matching Republicans versus Democrats, or so forth and so on. However, we've seen, some candidates actually win their seats because of the fact that they had won their election outright, or they had no opposition. State Senator Carlos Guillermo Smith, for instance, he had no opposition in his race for his Senate district, I believe 15, race here in Central Orange County. No opposition from Democrats or the Republicans. So by default, he was elected state senator. He replaces Democrat State Senator Linda Stewart, who is termed out. Another Democrat is being replaced by a Democrat. Net gain for the Democrats? Zero. School board member Stephanie Vanos. She won her race outright. I applaud Stephanie and Scott, her campaign manager, for starting early. And that's one of the keys. Great job, Stephanie and Scott. You started early. We've had this conversation. You started early. The name recognition campaign. People saw your name all over the place with the yard signs on individual homes. And then you went about the business of getting your votes. She won her race outright, overwhelmingly, over her challenger. However, it's a net gain for the liberals. It was a nonpartisan race. However, school board elect member, is that right? School board member elect Stephanie Vanos had the support of the establishment Democrats here in Orange County to help her win her seat. And you could pretty much say she identifies with the Democratic affiliation, political affiliation, and she replaces Karen Castor-Dental, who I lovingly nicknamed KCD because it just flows real nice, out of total respect for school board member Karen Castor-Dental. um, who aligns herself as a Democrat. Now, that's her political affiliation, as we saw when she was a state representative and as a candidate for Orange County Supervisor of Elections, which has now that election has moved to November. Long story. Go check out. You can't make this shit up. We've done an episode or two about this, so check that out. Kudos to Dan Helm again for doing the work that you're supposed to do as an election attorney, and just highlighting the fact that there was some shenanigans with some filing papers, but that's a different story. But again, um, member-elect Vanos replaces another liberal, and so zero net gain. And we're going to see this for the most part across many elections here in Florida, across the country, because that's how it is. That's how it is. With 17% turnout in this primary, it doesn't bode well for the general election. And with Vice President Harris getting into the race late and the Democrats, now gaining traction after presenting the vice president to the American public after the convention, with roughly 2.5 months left to this election, there's a lot of work that needs to be done to make sure everyone else on the ballot, whether it's the Democrats, like-minded, allies of the Democrats, are able to grab those voters who are on the peripheral, who are not as engaged as you and me in the process, and vote. And vote. And here in Florida, there are a ton of deficits in the organization, statewide and locally, that should have been in place in reaching out to Democrats who are just not engaged, and those potential Democrats who need to be engaged. So the down ballot is so important. And it's the presidential campaigns that lead the way. They are the party. The Democrat Party is now led by Vice President Harris. And as we know, the Republican Party is in the image of former President Trump. It is what it is. And I have to hand it to the Republicans. They have a system in place. Look at Georgia. Watch Georgia. In November, watch Georgia. The Republicans have systems in place. There are flaws. Oh, definitely. There are structural flaws in the state parties. However, when you compare their structure with the Democratic structure, they hold an advantage, particularly here in Florida. I'm sure that the Democrats here in Florida would like to say that they're in play, that Florida is in play. Well, with a million voter deficit in comparison to the Republicans and lack of resources in comparison to the Republicans, it's hard to look at the Democrats and take them seriously when they say that Florida is in play. If you're relying on a constitutional ballot initiative number 3, legalizing marijuana, and ballot initiative number 4, legal access to abortion up to viability. If you're relying on that to drive people to the polls, to get Democrats engaged, I have my concerns. That's just me. That's just my professional opinion. More has to be done. I want to know that both parties offer me and my family safety, opportunity, peace, growth, if I'm going to vote for either party in the primary, of course, and also in the general election in November. Politics is local, period. And my decision affects your decision. Your decision affects my decision. And as a political, my job is to persuade you to look at your best interests, your kitchen table issues, and determine who can deliver or who can stand out of the way to allow you to be the best version of yourself, to give you the opportunity. No, not give you the opportunity. No. Who will lay the landscape, who will till the land, prepare it for you to grow as a citizen, to become the best version of yourself, to create your own business, to participate more in your civic duties, to contribute to your community, to help bring out the best in others, and do it in a way where we, as Americans, citizens and residents of America, we all prosper, and we try not to leave anyone behind. Think about who offers those opportunities, who will not get in the way of America being the best version of itself. So this particular episode was really off the cuff. I wasn't really, expecting to kind of jump into this conversation, and that's what it is. I'm not talking at you. I having the conversation with you, and I encourage you to please like and comment, because I live for the comments, to be honest. We're a boutique-ish, political consulting firm, political marketing firm, and I like it that way. People ask me, David, how come you're not running for office? And it's like, I kind of like doing the behind the scenes stuff, the logic, the strategy, looking at data and analyzing that data to put together winning strategies. And you can find out more about that, at Countertop Politics every Monday, 5 minutes of campaign insight, political innuendo, and the secret sauce to winning strategies and campaigns. Check it out every Monday. And also check out the Informer newsletter, which I get that content out every 15th of the month. Videos, articles, a little insight by myself and my team. We really want to hear your comment, your feedback. What can we do less of? What we can do more of? Do you want to see more of this face? Hear more of this voice? But anyway, I love what I do. And again, thank you so much for being a part of what we do and making us successful. I've got some great ideas. I always have some great ideas, but I got some great ideas moving into the general election, some guest spots I need to confirm, particular appearances that I hope that you here in Central Florida and beyond will enjoy. A couple of series within the network that I believe that you will enjoy. And for those individuals who, something, I'm going to leave that quiet for now. But stay tuned. I think you're going to enjoy what you see. If not, give us some ideas. Let's talk about it. This is the David Washington Show. We